Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Material Issues. This is episode number 68. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. Joining me, as always, back home on the West Coast, farther south than he was last week, my good friend David Bash of the International Pop Overthrow Festival. David, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling well, Mark, on this 106-degree afternoon day in Reseda. Yeah, there's been a heat wave out here, as probably everyone on Facebook knows, because everyone who lives here is incessantly posting the temperature. But it's been this way for over a week, and fortunately I missed most of it being in Vancouver last week, but I've caught the tail end. It's going to happen. It's going to be over 100 for the next few days, and then finally on Saturday it breaks and we'll be in the mid 80s for the next week, most of which I'll miss because I'll be in Arlington doing IPO there. But IPO Vancouver went really well. It was fun. Hey, Gary, we'll see you in Arlington next week.
Nice.
It was fun. It was successful. We had good crowds. The venue, Lana Lou's, that we used for the first year was excellent. Lana is a great owner, really nice host. The bands were wonderful, and I have a lot of friends up there, which is nice. And the Vancouver scene is very incestuous. So you've got everyone playing in each other's bands, so that makes it fun too. Like, people are out at all the shows supporting each other. And Vancouver's just an awesome city. It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. Hey, Barry.
Hey, Barry. It's beautiful, and the people are really cool, laid back, as most Canadians are. And yeah, we just had a great time. Next week we'll be in Arlington, Texas at Black Box 215. And I want to thank Alan Petchy, Victor Irwin, and everyone at Black Box and Spider Pop Records for having us back. The venue's actually officially closed, but they reopened just for us. And, we're honored that they would do that. And IPO Arlington is very much like family. There's just Alan Petchy, is sort of the Lord and Shepherd of this really close-knit group of people. And it seems like no matter where, like if I'm with Dave Boogeyman or John Borak or whatever, no matter where we go, those people show up. Alan owns a restaurant called the Candlelight Inn, which is a really, really good place. And they're part of the whole family. And like, if we show up somewhere, anything that Alan has anything to do with, you'll see the Candlelight Inn people as well. So it's nice. It's really nice. And Black Box is a great venue. So we're really looking forward to that.
That'd be awesome.
And then, I'll have a little time off until November. Then we've got New York, Boston, and Hamilton, Ontario. Last year I missed Hamilton because of COVID restrictions. Yes, he is. And but this year that won't be the case, because you don't have to have a quarantine plan going into Canada. You do have to have a vax card, but I do. And they can at random, once you get there, test you for COVID. But that, I'll test before I leave, so I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, should be fun. We're back at the Casbah.
Well, here, speaking of that, Tim Allen says happy birthday, because you did celebrate a birthday.
Celebrated my 64th in Vancouver.
I wanted to do something just a little bit special right here. This is for your birthday here.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. Very, very happy 64th.
I can't remember which columnist said this, but one of them said it was like Marilyn was making love to the president in front of 80 million people.
In front of 80 million people. Yes.
Yeah. And but of course, we did make love to the president, probably in front of no people, although who knows what.
Yeah, probably. There were probably a few people in attendance.
Well, there might have been some
Secret Service
people taking a peek. Who knows?
We talked about like if I could go have a superpower, it would be go back in time and just kind of be there, but you're invisible, you can't affect anything, but you could go anywhere. We talked about watching Babe Ruth's called shot, all this kind of stuff. Sure. Hendrix at Monterey, whatever it may be. Could you imagine sitting on a Lazy Boy recliner the night that John F. Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe? Oh, Lord Almighty, that would be completely wrong, but you'd find out what really happened.
Well, I would want my superpower to be able to replace JFK. Does that mean? Yeah, actually, she has sung that to me. She's called me Mr. President many times in bed. So, yeah.
Mr. President. Barry wants to know if he'd be doing IPO Philly again someday.
I'm sure there will one day. The momentum kind of got a little bit diminished in Philly, and so we stopped doing it.
Venues in Philly have been tough.
That was a big problem. Yeah. So we'll be back someday, I think.
Well, tonight, it's David and I hanging out, and we got a lot of things going on this evening as far as just a lot of things we want to talk about. And of course, tonight we will have another episode of Stump the Bash, but we're going to have some fun this evening as well. We're going to do a little thing called Let's Get Chippy. I sent David a big box of various flavored potato chips, and he's going to try one every time I say, let's get Chippy. He's going to grab a bag, open up, and give us his opinion on some of these potato chips. So, David, let's get this Chippy.
For palate cleansing or retching, if I have to, depending on what you sent me.
So, David, reach into that box. Let's get Chippy and do a chip right now. So you're not salivating. And what do you pull out first?
Well, I pulled out an Asian bag. Mexican chicken tomato. Oh, I like Mexican the sound of that.
Chicken tomato potato chips. Very good. From Lay's. So here he is getting Chippy. Mexican chicken tomato. He gives that a thumbs up. These are from my local Asian supermarket.
These actually have a very sweet tomato flavor, unlike the ketchup flavors, which the various ketchup flavors, the tomato is a little bit spicier. Oh my God.
So you would give the Lay's Mexican chicken tomato a thumbs up.
I'd say out of 10, it'd probably get about an 8. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Well, that's the first sample of Let's Get Chippy tonight. Mexican chicken tomato.
I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind for a while. Nothing heavy, mind you, but in the world of record collecting and audiophiles, this was a huge shockwave. About a month ago or so, it was revealed that mobile fidelity releases, the ones on vinyl, which have been purported to be completely analog in every stage. In fact, we're not completely analog, that there were one, maybe two digital stages involved. Somebody surreptitiously got that info from a MoFi employee who, of course, has been anonymous. And it was made public. And like I said, the revelation shook a lot of people. But obviously, MoFi is accountable. This was no accident. And they did deceive a lot of people who spend a lot of money. I mean, they're not cheap. But on a personal level, I couldn't care less. As long as it sounds good, and I never bought them because they were analog only. I bought them because they sounded better than the other releases that came out, and of whatever album we're talking about. And they do. They sound wonderful. In terms of that, they are as advertised, no doubt. But what I find almost delicious about this thing is, and I'll just give you a little background. I cannot stand vinyl snobs. Mm-hmm. They drive me up the fucking wall. I mean, I love vinyl. I love CDs. I have more CDs in my collection than vinyl for a number of reasons. But there are so many people out there who won't even listen to a CD because they say, digital recording it's dishonest. It's not the way it was meant to be. All this crap. It's the same kind of crap to me when people talk about baseball and tradition and all that. And there's a lot of hypocrisy in that, of course. So those people who eschew CDs completely because they're digital have now have talked for years about how great those MoFi releases sound, and they end up having some digital stages in there. So these people, these vinyl snobs who talk about how great these things are and completely lambaste CDs are essentially listening to things that have similar stages to CDs. And the Emperor definitely has no clothes. Oh, there you go.
Yes, it is, Tim. Yeah.
And I just love it. One of the things that's always bugged me, and I think we may have spoken about this on an earlier episode.
Right.
There are documentaries that have been out about record collectors. One of the most notable is Record Safari, where a gentleman named Alex Rodriguez, no, not him, who owned a record store out here, went on a quest throughout the country to find a whole bunch of records for his store. So this documentarian followed him around the U.S. and they interview him, of course, and a lot of record store owners and a lot of record collectors. And it was many of the record collectors almost went out of their way to talk about how they've never bought a CD, they've never listened to a CD, they refuse to do it. And they'll lift up a record, let's say Bob Dylan's Highway 61. They'll say, this is how the record was meant to be heard. An analog, a warm, true sounding analog recording. And I would never listen to it on CD. And, a lot of these collectors had really unimpressive collections, to say the least. Some of them even bragged about how they never spent more than $1 or $2 on a record.
Right.
To those people who say they've never listened to a CD or buy one, you guys are idiots. There's so much good music that has never come out on vinyl. So basically what you're saying is, I'm not going to listen to some really good music.
Yeah, a lot of it.
That's what you're saying. I mean, it's never going to be. Yeah, exactly.
I remember when vinyl 33 1/3 came out. I held up my 78s and said, I'll never listen to a 33 1/3 because 78's the only way it should be heard.
Yes, but you gave in.
I gave in.
Unlike most 80-year-olds today who refused all.
Yeah.
There you go. We got the power pop element of this show out of the way, obviously. Thank you, Brian. So anyway, it's always bugged me that these record snobs will put down CDs, and that these documentaries, like, I would love my collection to be showcased in a documentary, but because it's mostly CDs, nobody cares. Yeah. So I've never been asked, and I probably never will, which may be just as well. So anyway, to all those people, thank you. To all those people who fancy themselves vinyl snobs, you just got duped big time. Your whole thing about CDs not sounding true has been proven to be complete BS, because that's right. Those MoFi releases that you've heralded as the real deal were not the real deal, but you thought they were, because it's not about sound. It's about trappings. It's about perception. And you perceive these things to be perfect, even though, based upon your criteria, they weren't. So,
now, As a collector, though, David, do you think the vinyl snobs, as you've been alluding to them as, they love their vinyl because there is a sense of rarity or fragility to something that is not recreated again today on vinyl, and it only comes from a certain period of time? Whereas as a CD collector, with all what we know about CDs, if you take care of it and stick it on the shelf, that should still be in great shape 100 years from now, for what you're listening to. I think some of the snobbery, besides what you're saying, what they hear, also comes from rarity and collectability and fragility and having something that they get that no one else can find, type of a thing. Whereas digitally with CD, if a CD is way out of print or you can't find it anymore, you can still make an exact digital copy essentially, and hear that type of thing. But I think there's some of that going on too.
There may be. I think most of it just stems. It's mostly older people who. It's mostly older people who, when CDs came out, yeah. Well, whoever you are, you would know.
Whoever that was.
I think I know who it was. That's why I said that. At any rate, it's mostly people who are older who, when CDs came out, it's almost like anything else. When there's change, you resist it.
Yeah.
People thought, well, that's going to be the end of records, vinyl records as we know it, and we don't want that to happen. So we're going to protest by not buying any CDs. Well, for a while, it looked like that was going to happen, Mark, because as you know, starting in the early 90s, at least in the U.S., releases didn't come out on vinyl. About 95% of them didn't come out on vinyl until 2008 when the resurgence started. So in that regard, yeah, the vinyl people were right, but I have to admit, at first I kind of resisted it until things started coming out that you could only get on CD. And what was I going to do? Not have the music? It's like, screw that, I'm buying it. And, and it turned out that I was glad I did.
Here's a question for you though. What, in like a short paragraph, what is it about CDs that you love?
Well, for the most part, I think they sound better. Okay. It's not always the case, especially with those MoFi releases. They do sound better than most CDs. Right. However, they were created, whatever the process was. They normally can fit much more than vinyl, and because of that, we've had all kinds of releases, compilations, especially come out that have like 78 minutes on. Rather than having to do a double record, which was always not cheap, they could do one CD with 78 minutes of music, and you would get a hell of a lot for your money. Plus, they're easier to store. They take up less room, and I used to live in apartments. I didn't live in a house as an adult until 2019. So space was always at a premium. And you could store 10,000 CDs more easily than you could 4,000 LPs. So those are the things that I mainly like about.
So here's a question for you: If the next evolution is to get smaller, I know mini discs didn't catch on for whatever reason, but let's say the next evolution is that you buy it on a mini, like a little SD card, or your little adapter. And now your CD is this big, and you can keep 100 of them in a tiny little case because it's this size. Would you be amenable to a next generation like that and start collecting these things, or do you like
there was? Yeah,
do you like the booklet type of thing to look at as well, or?
I always like artwork, and I mean, I prefer vinyl artwork. Yeah, absolutely, they did, and but mostly things that never were in print to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And here's another thing to those vinyl snobs, the ones that hold up the original LPs and say that's how this music was meant to be. Yeah, why don't you hold up a Radiohead album and say this came out on CD? That's how this music was meant to be heard. Think about all the stuff that came out between, let's say, 1992 and 2008. The only way they came out originally was on CDs. They went through a digital process. When they were recorded, they were recorded with that in mind. So those albums, including several classics, hey Andy, including several classic albums, were meant to be heard on CD. So take that again, vinyl snob.
Well, they couldn't mean to hear them on CD in 1966, generally because it didn't exist.
Well, yeah, you're going to tell me in 1966 if CDs didn't exist, all the record companies would say, well, we're not going there.
We're not going there.
No, vinyl is how it was meant to be heard.
Hey, David,
again,
let's get Chippy.
Screw off. Yeah, we better get
Chippy.
I'm gonna lose my time here. All right.
I like this episode of Let's Get Chippy. What do we got?
Oh my God, India's magic masala. So, were these actually imported from India?
No, I got those at the Asian supermarket as well. Magic masala.
Well,
I figured you would like this because we all know you are a besides being
Indian food
aficionado.
We have to rip this one.
Indian food.
All right. I need another one.
Masala, Indian spices.
Not very spicy. Well, actually, it does have a kick that hits at the end. Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. Is it a tikka masala? Okay. All right.
I would definitely give it a 7. It's got a lot of kick that hits you a little bit later.
Okay.
And it's definitely got, it's got the typical Indian flavor. It's nice.
Would you? So you're ranking the chicken Mexican tomato first still?
That's an 8 so far.
Okay.
Well, there's only been 2, so it's it ranks ahead of the masala. Yeah.
Let me ask.
Would I buy? I would certainly buy both of these again.
Okay. Good. What would you pay for the upcoming Revolver box set? You've seen all about that.
What would I pay for it?
What would you pay, knowing what's supposed to be involved in it? Have you seen all that?
I've taken a quick perusal of the track list.
What do you think? I mean, I've seen no estimated price for it at all. Maybe
I'm sure it won't be anything more than. I mean, it's not going to be particularly limited. So I'm sure it'll be the usual price of about 150 to 200.
Yeah. Okay.
I would certainly pay that. I've been assigned to review it, so I'm hoping to get a free copy. But if I can't, I'll obviously buy it. I have not looked at the track listing closely. Does it mention if it has the original mix, the Matrix 1 mix of Tomorrow Never Knows, the one that was withdrawn within about a week?
I do not know. Someone just chimed in and said $199 for the deluxe LP set.
That's cheap.
$129 for the CD.
How can you turn that? I mean, it's cheap relative to what it could be, not relative to what you might want to spend your money on. But yeah, how can you? I mean, $199 for the LPs. That's great.
Yeah. No,
I hope they do an Uber box like they did for All Things Must Pass, but I don't think that's in the plans.
I've heard the 4-disc 45 LP.
Somebody found them a little cheaper than you, Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't look at it that closely to tell you exactly some of the questions you're asking about what's on it, but obviously, as far as Beatle albums go, I think Revolver is high on everybody's list, Beatle fan wise. So,
does anyone know, has the Matrix 1 version of Tomorrow Never Knows come out on CD yet? I know it's not on LP except for the original version, which is generally going from anywhere between 3 and 10 bills right now on Discogs. I would love to own one. The problem is most of them are not in perfect shape, as you might imagine. They were only out. Yeah, I'm sure they're not. Oh, you do? Okay. Wow. How much did you pay for it, Barry, or did you actually find it cheap at some point?
Let's see.
Yeah, it came out in the UK for about a week. When John Lennon heard that mix was the one released, he immediately contacted Brian Epstein and said, "Brian, if you make this go away, I'll let you give me head." That's how it happened. Yeah. It's no rumor, folks.
It's no rumor, huh?
Yeah, that's how it happened. He made it go away. So yeah, after about a week, that version where that mix was withdrawn, and then a bunch of, and then what we know to be the UK Revolver came out. Many more copies. So it's really rare. So the ones that still do exist that are for sale are, anywhere between good and very good plus condition, but you're not going to see anything higher than that. And even VG plus is hard to find. Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you knowing about it back then. I didn't. Had I known, I would have certainly snarfed one up. Because now, yeah, like I said, I think the going rate for like a VG copy, both vinyl and disc, is about around $300 to $350. So
we got October is the release date of this Revolver box, and whatever. I guess there's many different.
It is going to be in October. Okay.
I think it's October, but there's many different packages.
They should make it on Lennon's birthday.
Yeah.
That'd be a good day.
But I'm sure they want to get it out in plenty of time for holiday shopping.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, you almost never see releases like this in December, but the band Horslips, a 70s prog pop band who I really like, there's going to be a 36 disc box of theirs coming out, not until October 28th. Okay, not until December.
Wow.
So that's Madfish Records. Madfish Records, who did the Gentle Giant and Al Stewart and a few others. They're the ones putting it out. I know, it's amazing.
Unbelievable.
But I'll be all over it.
Yeah. Wow.
They're beautiful box sets. The book that comes with it is stellar. I know it's overkill, no doubt about it. But as a collector, I just
I mean, if I'd buy it if it was like 36 LPs vinyl, but
that's right. You're a vinyl snob. You won't even
I wouldn't touch the 30.
Those are just props that are next to you back there.
I wouldn't touch the CD. Yeah, there's nothing in them. They're just empty cases. But it's going to be quite the package. So it's amazing what they can still pull from the Beatles' teat, so to speak.
There's a hell of a lot left that have.
Oh yeah.
There are a hell of a lot of acts who don't have box sets yet that certainly could. We're not talking about rights issues. Like I would love to see a box set of Mono Holly's UK albums.
See,
and they can extend it to when it becomes stereo only. That'd be okay. But just a nice box set of. If they can do the Kinks, they can do the Hollies, in my opinion. Yeah. So they'll eventually they'll get to that, and there's tons and tons of other stuff. It's not people will say, well, they've released everything. No, they haven't.
No, not even close. Dropping a hat, and that's the beauty of even for older guys like us that appreciate mostly things that have come way before us. We, the things that we love today are kind of genre specific that we really like as far as that's concerned. But there's just such a gold mine of material that's not been, issued on CD at all, re-released.
Not on CD, not on vinyl,
so there's just
really, I mean, for whatever reason, this popped in my head. There's a really cool garage pop band from the 60s from Florida called the Bird Watchers. About 40 years ago, a bootleg of their stuff came out on LP. Since then, nothing. I mean, and it's really good stuff. I don't know why there hasn't been a CD reissue of theirs or anything. There is, Tim.
Oh, there you go.
I have one. It's not a big box. It's a CD size box. But yeah, let me see if I can find it for you. Hold on.
See, there you go, Tim.
I was told it's unprofessional of me to leave, but I'm doing it.
No, it's all good.
Let's see if I can find this.
What David doesn't know is I have a secret interview that he did. We're gonna play it shortly. Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's hard to see in this light, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's a 4-disc of more or less all their stuff. I think it's not. I don't think it's in album form, but nice book.
Wow.
Yeah, it came out on BR Music, which is a Dutch company, and it's got how many tracks on here? Let's see. 35 on the first disc. So 35, 60, no, 7. Wow. All right, hold on. 35 and 39 is 74. And yeah, it's well over 80 tracks, more like 90. So this might be everything they did. So there you go, Tim. Look that one up.
And what's amazing is that only took you about 15 seconds to actually find that in your massive collection.
I know. There are certain things that would have taken me a lot longer to find. Does it have the Lose of England on it? Let's find out. If it doesn't, then I guess it doesn't have everything they've done.
Andy might have the inside track on something there that you don't know about.
Yes, it does, Andy.
There you go.
One track 27.
There you go.
I have a feeling it's got more or less everything that's at least common. There may be some rare Argentinian B-side that's not on it.
That's absolutely true, Tim. And that's why it's good to ask questions here on Material Issues, because somebody will be able to answer it, you know?
More than likely. Hey, let's do another Chippy and then Stump the Bash.
Let's get Chippy.
All right.
What do we got going on?
We got roasted fish flavor.
What is that? Roasted.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Roasted fish flavor.
Oh, there you go. Well, you told me you didn't like anything with cheese or sour cream.
No. I think I could very well like this. I don't know what kind of fish it is, but
roasted fish. It's just general fish. Oh Lord.
Yeah. This does taste like
fishy.
A little bit like Thai food.
Oh, okay.
Or Vietnamese food. There's a spice in here that I can't remember which one, but
I think
it
it's
always
puffer.
hits me. It always hits me late, and it's always one that I'm not particularly crazy about. But yeah, not bad. I'd say a 7 on this.
All right, so you're putting that in third place of the chips.
Well, I gave a 7 to the masala, but
yeah,
I think this is a more interesting flavor than the masala, so I'm putting it second.
Well, good. Well, that's going to lead us into our.
We've got
Bash
what do
episode.
we have here?
Do the tube. Do the tube.
What?
Do the tube. The Pringles. Do the Pringles.
Oh, all right.
I'm dying to have you try that.
Oh, ketchup flavored Pringles. Wow.
I never knew they existed, but
I didn't either.
I know how much you enjoy. That's
Wait,
his arsenic. This guy, Facebook user, is pretty funny.
I that was in really bad.
And there you have it. Happy birthday and good night, David. Yeah, ketchup Pringles.
Nice.
That
could be a winner.
That's different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 9.
That's a 9. Oh, let's get Chippy with David back. And David, speaking of Chippy, I have to bring something up that I've been holding on to here. You did an interview not too long ago, and I do have a copy of it. And I want to know how you completely changed your opinion 360 degrees. So I'm going to play a clip of the interview right now. So tell me what it's all about and what the context is, because I can't believe that that you said this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Why do you like the music of Kiss?
Why do I like music?
Kiss music.
Because it gives me orgasms every time I hear it. Yeah, I'm one of the only people in the world who can make that claim.
Well, you know,
The interview asked you about Kiss music, and you said it gives you orgasms.
Gene Simmons' long tongue. Yeah, how could I resist that?
Oh, Lord Almighty. And with that, it is time to play Stump the Bash.
Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play Stump the Bash. You know how it works. I pick a chart position, Billboard Hot 100 from 1965 to 1975. That's 11 years of the year-end top 100. David has to pick 5 of those years, and he's got to get an average of 3 points out of the 5 questions in order to get 15 points to not be stumped. Tonight, he's got the choice between A or B. Which way are you going to go, my friend?
Well, Gene, last time I chose B, so it's going to be A this time.
A, chart position 46.
46. Oh, boy.
46. And some
Again,
of you,
just a reminder to everyone listening, if you know the answer, do not say it. And no, joke answers are not appreciated. Last week we got plenty of them, mostly from the same person.
that darn Facebook user. I don't know who Facebook user is.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to stop Facebook user from commenting joke answers, but
we know you're a user and you should seek help for it.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right, David, 1965 through 1975. Let's go with your first year.
Do you recall which years I chose last week? I know.
Yes.
76,
last week.
70, 66, 68, 75, and
72.
72. Okay.
And 72.
All right, then. Let's try 1967. We'll try a tough one first.
Oh, and you did pick a tough one, ladies and gentlemen. 1967, chart position number 46.
Okay, so 0 points. Okay. Go ahead.
This is for 5 points. First clue: this song was written by Harvey Schmidt with lyrics by Tom Jones, and it was featured in the 1966 Broadway musical I Do, which starred Robert Preston and Mary Martin.
Damn, I missed that musical.
Of all the musicals.
No, wait. So is the Tom Jones that Tom Jones?
No.
Oh. Okay. Let me think. So Harvey Schmidt, that must be Mike's dad, I assume.
Yeah, it's Mike Schmidt's dad.
Okay.
He hit a home run with this one.
Now read the clue again. Not that I think I'm going to get it, but let me absorb.
By Harvey Schmidt with lyrics by Tom Jones, featured in the 66 Broadway musical I Do, which starred Robert Preston and Mary Martin. Of course, Robert Preston of The Music Man, Mary Martin, Larry Hagman's mom. That should help you out tremendously.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's
this, my friend, could it be the toughest of all the questions you could have, all the years you could have picked.
I'm just going to take a wild stab at this one. It Must Be Him by Vicky Carr.
Oh, no.
No, I didn't think so.
All right, question number 2, 4 points. This is not going to help you at all. Released on the RCA Victor label with the B-side, It Seems a Long, Long Time.
Well, being on RCA, it must be somebody to no. Let's see.
This is I have to admit, this is a tough.
No, this is tough. RCA 67. Oh, I don't know if this was 67. I don't think so. Let me think of what else was 67. I don't know if this was 67 or not, but no, I don't even know if this was as big a hit. My Cup Runneth Over by Ed Ames.
How did you get that?
No.
That 4 points for David.
It is.
My Cup Runneth Over.
Oh,
Ed Ames. Holy cow. Great job.
Ed Ames, most famous for I'm sure you've seen this, Mark. You know what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, he besides being, a longtime singer, both with the Ames brothers and as a solo career, he starred in a Western called Mingo. And he was on the Johnny Carson show. Johnny had him take a little hatchet, I guess, and aim at a drawing of a man, just no face, no nothing. He shoots it and it goes right between the guy's legs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Everybody just died laughing, especially Carson.
Well, had we gotten to the final clue, it would have been the artist was born Edmund Dantes Urick, but also known as Mingo on the day.
That was the last clue.
Yep. Yeah.
That was number one.
That was number one. But I wish you would have gotten to clue number 4 because the song comes from essentially a popular phrase of the time. But Samantha, on an episode of Sex and the City, uses a version of this phrase to describe a baseball player's protective cup.
I'm a man, Mark. Do you think I watch Sex and the City? Come on.
Yes. All right. What year are we going to next?
Thank God the RCA very much helped, and also the fact that it was in a play certainly helped, because that's the kind of song that might be in a play.
I got to give it to you. And as DC2 and Tim were saying, and again, DC2 and Daryl, thank you again for the theme song to Stump the Bash. Appreciate it. What year are we going to next, my friend? You're already up 4 points.
Well, we should go into the 70s. Let's do 73.
1973 it is. Let me see what we got. Ooh.
Another toughie, huh?
Oh, here we go. And sometimes when they're tough, it's tough to write a clue for them, but here we go. Question number 1, 5 points. Written by Tom Bell and Sherman Marshall and released on the Chelsea label with a B-side called Ain't It So?
Well, I didn't think this song was quite that big, but the only thing I can think of that was written by Tom Bell on the Chelsea label, if I'm right about this, I know John Borak really loves this song. I'm Doing Fine Now by New York City.
Look at you, my friend. You hit a 5-pointer. You're already at 9 points. Holy cow. David, last week you said your brain wasn't quite there. Tonight, this is a no-brainer for you. Holy cow.
Well, my brain doesn't feel like it's there today either, but somehow
9 points, you can pretty much cruise the next 3 questions and still.
Knowing the label often helps. Chelsea being, not one that was not one that was manna for releases.
I'm Doing Fine Now, New York
City.
That
is a great. I'm Doing Fine Now is a great song, and thank you. And very, because it was written by Tom Bell, it's very Spinners-like. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people thought it was the Spinners before they heard who it was.
Yeah,
kind of
a lot of the other
One Bad Apple by the Osmond Brothers came out. Everyone thought it was the Jackson 5, and in fact, DJs for the first week or so said it was the Jackson 5 because Mike Curb probably paid them to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Then finally they admitted who it was. But anyway,
holy cow! Though 5-pointer. You're at 9
points.
9 points after 2 questions. Wow. You got. All you have to do is average 2.
You've seen what happened last week. So.
Yeah, but it gets even easier from here on out with this chart position. So I think you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Which way we go?
Again, those are both. My cup run is over, and I'm Doing Fine Now are songs that if you had asked me how big they got for the year, I never would have thought they got to 46.
46 overall. I mean,
that's it. I know in New York, I'm Doing Fine Now wasn't anywhere near that. Ironically, since New York City was the name of the group. All right, let's go in 1969.
1969. All right, David, sitting on 9 points. 1969. Whoa, this should be a no-brainer for you.
Oh yeah, right.
I'll make it a little tough with the clues. Clue number 1 for 5 points, putting you right up against it. Composed by the artist and her brother, Randy Myers. It was
Didn't he pitch for the Reds?
Yes,
Much later.
He was very young when he composed this.
Yeah,
it was the artist's highest charting hit.
Well, I mean, so it's a
You gotta
female.
know. You got her was definitely in there to lead you down a correct road, but you got to know that her brother was Randy Myers.
Now that doesn't mean her last name was Myers. Certainly, it's probably not. But she composed and sang it. I'm trying to remember if this woman's last name, but was this her biggest hit? I don't think her last was her last name Myers. Oh shit. I didn't think this was her last name, so I'm probably wrong about this. Ha 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 ha. No, that was cups. That was cup plural.
Yeah, it was my cups runneth over.
Yeah. I'm going to say "Put a Little Love in Your Heart" by Jackie DeShannon.
I think somebody's feeding you the information through a secret headphone. That's another 5-pointer.
Holy shit!
Holy cow!
I knew Jackie DeShannon wasn't her birth name. I don't know if Myers was. Maybe she might. I don't think she ever took his name. I'm trying to remember what her birth name was. If anybody knows, without looking it up, because I could
Put a
look it
little
up.
love in your heart, Jackie DeShannon. My friends, you're watching a savant right here tonight. This is
Holy
14 points. The maximum with 3 questions is 15. David, you are on a roll tonight.
Yeah, watch me get 0 on the next 2.
It's impossible to get 0 because the last clue is always really a giveaway.
Well, I've gotten 0 before.
I know we have. Yes, we have.
Thank you.
Classic.
All right. Let's go in 1971. One of my favorite years. I've done really poorly on 1970, which is my favorite year for top 40. 71 is about 95% that as good as 70. So let's see how I do here.
Before we get into this one, let's get Chippy.
Oh, we're going to get Chippy during that.
We're going to get Chippy.
All the momentum I've got. All right.
That's what I'm trying to break up. I'm trying to break up the momentum.
Yeah, I can see that. Now I'm going to take a big bag. Oh, all right. Well, I've certainly eaten chips before. Grillo's pickle.
Dill pickle.
Classic dill pickle. Well, you can't go wrong with that.
Not go wrong with dill pickle potato chips.
I have to point out, though, the expiration date is August 22nd.
Yes, I know that.
Why are you giving me stuff that's spoiled already?
I'm trying to throw off your run. The
hers are at least September 18th. So.
I know.
All right.
The Karnak of musical knowledge. Dill pickle potato chips from Utz.
Well, they've lost some of their luster. I can tell.
Also luster, but pickly.
But they're good. They're they're solid dill pickle potato chips, which I always love, and any dill pickle flavor. I'll give them an 8.
8, good. We're right.
I can taste that they're expired. In fact,
those I got off a street corner by a street corner.
Let me see about these back here. Oh, this one. Wait, what the 2022? 320. No wonder they tasted so dull. Mark, you got me a March 20th, 2022 expiration.
I think that's when I mailed the box.
Yeah. Let's see this one. 2021. You know how much better these things would be if they weren't.
Hey, listen, it was a giant Asian supermarket here. All right, they were on the discount aisle. What can I do?
Wonder. They should have paid you. Now, when I have salmonella poisoning or whatever the hell you get from eating expired chips, I'll know who to blame now.
You obviously have it already because you're slurring your speech.
I'm telling you, Mark.
That's twice we've lost David tonight, ladies.
And I don't even get to win Stump the Bash because I died at 14 points.
That's right. 14 points is where you ended the show. All right, my friend. 1971.
Yeah.
All you need is 1 point, and you are not stumped tonight. Here we go. First question. This is a 5-pointer. This could be your third 5-pointer of the evening. This song was written by Tony Hester and released on the Volt Stax label with the B-side "Thankful for Your Love."
Oh shit.
1971, Tony Hester, Volt Stax.
Yeah.
Stax Volt.
Oh. I'm gonna say "What You See Is What You Get" by the Dramatics.
I give up. I might as well just leave and let you just glow in your 5-pointer. What You See Is What You Get by the Dramatics. David Bash is already at 19 points, and he's still got
Label
1 year to go.
In many cases, labels help. I remember last week they
Wow.
didn't. Remember last week there was something on. I forgot what label it was. I had no idea what it was, but sometimes it does help. I have a really weird story about "What You See Is What You Get." It's one of my favorite songs of that year, no doubt about it. I was flying. My dad, my brother, and I were flying to Israel for my bar mitzvah. This would have been right at the end of August, or maybe September 1st, even of 1971. We're in our descent. It's about 5 a.m, or no, maybe more like 7 a.m. The sun it's starting to come up. The lights are coming up, and I'm looking down. I had the window seat, and I'm looking down, and there's this black jet, much smaller than we were on a 747 on that flight, which was, that was a huge deal at that time.
At the time,
They
yeah.
even let us go. They even let my brother and I, we were kids, they let us run up to the lounge, run around for about a minute. So we thought very cool. Anyway, I'm looking at this plane, and I'm seeing it. It's below us, and it's trailing us. And somehow the song "What You See Is What You Get," which was at that point pretty popular on the radio, that song just popped into my head. So every time I hear that song, I think about that plane. I have no idea why. It's just one of those bizarre memories.
But that's the magic of music. When you talk
It really
about
is.
music and tastes, smell, the senses like that, and music's a big one. You can put yourself right back in that moment of time when you hear a certain song. When I hear Shannon, I'm back at a junior high school dance, and I'm sitting up in the corner of the bleachers wishing I could dance with this one particular girl, but I didn't have the nerve to ask her. And every time I hear Henry Gross's Shannon, I can smell the wood of the bleacher seats.
Oh, wow.
In my nose, because I was just so enamored with this girl, but did not have the cojones to walk up to her and ask.
Where is she now?
Huh? I think she's in prison. I'm not really sure. But
just go up to the warden and say, I'm not married to her. Can we have a conjugal visit?
Tell
the warden that story. They'll definitely feel for you.
But it takes me right back to that place in time. It really does. And because there was a moment when I felt really down up there in the bleachers, and that song came on, and it's kind of a sad song. And when you're listening to it, and you're in a dark corner of the bleachers, and you see this girl go dance with another guy, and Shannon's playing, it's forever etched in my mind as that moment.
Now, I love that song too. It doesn't have any particular memory attached to it, but what is the actual lyric? Is it "Shannon is gone, I hope," or "I heard"?
I always thought it was "I heard."
That's what I always thought.
But we're going to have to get Henry Gross on the show and ask him about it.
We could, yeah.
Why is I always thought it, but
anyone can Google it, but that could be wrong too.
Yeah, I always thought it was "I heard."
Does anyone out there think it's "hope" rather than "heard"?
Because why would you hope that your dog is drifting out to sea?
Well, she always loved to swim away. So
yeah, now you're hoping that she's lost to sea. If you heard about it though, it'd be like, I heard.
It's already It's already established that Shannon is gone. So we know Shannon. So given that scenario, they're the least of evils, and maybe the least of evils is that she's drifting out to sea because she always loved to swim away.
Yeah.
So that would make hope a viable word.
Yeah.
Believe me, anytime I listen to lyrics and something comes up, and I know that my thought is a little bit off, there's always at least some logical explanation for it, even if nobody else buys it. So
there you go. The greatest lost dog song in top 40 history. Yeah.
I would have to agree. I can't really think of any others, so I think by default it wins. But
all right, my friend, you got one more year to pick.
I've got 19 points.
You got you don't even have to try on this one, but obviously you will because it's a personal challenge. But
yeah,
what are we going with?
And I'll make the challenge. I could either go with what can I go with? Either 65 or 74. So I'll make it tough since I've already won, and I'll go with 65, which will probably be really tough.
Really easy. Here we go.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you got this. And if you
this is one
this, I mean, you're already setting a personal record for Stump the Bash with your points already, without any bonus questions or whatever. This could shatter your personal record. Here we go. Question number 1, 1965 chart position number 46. This song was a 1910 British music hall song by Fred Murray and R.P. Weston, and was the signature song of music hall star Harry Champion.
All right, so this is 65, because the following year there was a really huge hit that would fit into that vein, but it's not that, and it wouldn't have been only number 46. What was the Murray guy's name?
Fred Murray and R.P. Weston, and
not Fred McMurray.
Fred McMurray. That was
he
my
was alive in 1910.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
probably wasn't recording anything.
It was a signature song of music hall star Harry Champion. I know you have everything Harry Champion's ever done, so maybe it's.
And speaking of another Philly, his grandson Billy Champion was a.
There you go.
He'd probably just be it. Yeah, no, grandson sounds right.
About right. That's about right.
Yeah, but I do not know.
All right, we did not have a record 5 points scores, so we're going on to 4 points. Joe Brown included the song on his first album, A Picture of You, in 1962. But in 1965, it became the fastest selling song in history to that point when this group released it, becoming the group's second number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, dethroning I Can't Get No Satisfaction.
Wow. That's funny. So it only made it to 46, so that means it must have dropped.
Overall, 46, yeah.
Yeesh. Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter by Herman's Hermits.
4 points.
All right. Wow. So 4, 5, 5, 5, 4. I'm going to have a hard time topping that.
That's 23 points out of a possible 25. Chart position number 46 was just destroyed by David Bash. Yeah, destroyed.
Yeah, of course, that was back in the day where the songs would just rise and fall from number 1.
Well, it's because there was so much good music.
Top of a hat. And it was you'd always see on sitcoms back then, the teenager would be listening to some new song that her parents couldn't stand. Her mom would come in and say, and she'd say, "This is my favorite song." And the mom would say, "Well, what about the other one that was your favorite?" "Oh, that was last week." But that the funny thing about that is that really oh, you got one. Wow, you did. You beat me on that one. Nice. I know nothing about show music, so especially from 1910. So actually, the joke was apropos because back then, the charts just changed really, really quickly.
Yeah. So when you hear about a song staying at number 1 for 8 weeks or 10 weeks in the 60s, that's quite an accomplishment, because
that was really
so much good music coming out.
Remember, in the mid 60s, I don't think that ever happened.
Very, 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 very hard. And then when you think about the big thing about the Beatles having songs number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 12, 15, whatever it was, that in and of itself is a jaw dropping feat. But that just really Neat stuff. But look at you, 23 points out of 25. We did not stump the bash tonight. We had nothing to do with stumping anybody. He did absolutely great on
Stump the Bash. Stump the
Stump the
Bash.
Bash. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Daryl, for waiting Stump the Bash for us.
I'm going to do the championship hand class to quote the Beach Boys book. John Borak knows all about that.
Well, do we have any chips left for a Chippy celebration?
I don't know if I want to risk it with these expiration dates.
You can check the expiration date. If it's expired, don't eat it.
It's too late now. If I'm dying, I'm already dead.
You're gonna go. You're gonna
All
go.
right, we'll try one more. These Ruffles here.
Yeah, wasn't that amazing?
Oh, they're more ketchup, and they're from Canada. I didn't even see these up there.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, because you didn't mention
for expiration date here.
it's Canadian expiration.
Yeah, that's different.
It's different.
2022, July 12th. So they are expired.
No, it's
for 2
brand
months.
new almost.
Thank you, Tim.
It's almost brand new.
All right, we're going to try these. These are more ketchup.
Ruffles.
Double crunch. Ultra. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Croquantes. Double crunch.
That sounds more Spanish than
It
French.
must be. It must be crunchy.
Oh my God, there's ants crawling in here.
We've got an ant problem.
These would be a 9+ if they weren't expired.
That would have been the winning chip. Well, now you know what to look for next time you're in Vancouver. Ruffles Double Crunch.
They weren't there.
No, wow. There you go. That's because they're expired. They've gone out of business.
Cambridge, Ontario.
Nice.
They never got made the train to Vancouver.
Well, you did a great job with Stump the Bash tonight, David. Congratulations on 23 points. Yeah, that's going to be tough to beat. That's going to give you a challenge for future Stump the Bashes. But we won't have.
I amazed myself, actually.
We won't have Stump the Bash for a number of weeks. We've got a few fantastic guests coming up, which I hope everybody tells their friends and they join the Facebook group here or the YouTube channel at materialissues.com, because next 2 weeks going to be fantastic. What do we got going on, my friend?
I'm going to be unprofessional again, and I'm going to be right back because I forgot to bring the paraphernalia involved in this. So.
Well, see, here's a cool announcement. Yeah, we got 2 great guests coming up. He's going to talk about it momentarily in the next couple of weeks. We always have irons into fire. So make sure you join the Material Issues Facebook group, because you'll get that that notification on Monday or Tuesday that David sends out as to who's coming up on Wednesday. Same with the YouTube channel, materialissues.com, and all the shows are archived there too. This is show number 68. Hard to believe that we've done.
It really is.
Now,
it's great that we're able to continue doing this, and we're getting some really cool guests. Speaking of cool guests, next week we certainly have one, and I'll be doing my part from Arlington, Texas, from the Cove, the house that Alan Petrie owns and allows musicians and other such people to stay in when events are happening. So we're very grateful for that. Last year we did the Bruce Brodeen, the first one I believe was from the Cove. But anyway, next week we have a really wonderful guest. None other than Mr. Bob Cowsill of the Cowsills. And who knows, we might see some more Cowsills there. I'm not sure, but that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's their new album, Rhythm of the World. It's coming out officially on September 30th, so this will be some good promo for it. Bob is a great guy, and this is a great, great album. Oh, wow, Doug Kazam. Nice to see you, Doug. Nice to see you here. Thank you. Yeah, this is a really, really good album. It's their first one their first official release in 28 years, I believe, since Global came out. And there's some beautiful tunes on here. The signature harmonies are still there, great melodies, and one song on here called Katrina, which was, as you might guess, about. But it's written. It's written in first person, as if Barry Cowsill was singing it, and he unfortunately perished in Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, wow.
So they wrote it as if these were his last moments, and it's a tearjerker, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you.
Wow.
But yeah, this is an excellent album on my favorite label, Omnivore, of course, because they release the IPO CD. But seriously, they also release a lot of great. They have a lot of great reissues as well.
You know, we both grew up with the Cowsills, and you know, this is going to be a great show. I mean, we've had a ton of great guests, and I love them all for coming on the show. I'm looking forward to next week big time as well. So
we really appreciate every guest that comes on. Of course, everybody who listens or watches as well.
yes,
Following week, we're going to have the author of God Only Knows, the story of Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys, and the California Myth. That would be Mr. David Leaf.
sure.
And I'm sure some people watching this have the original version of this book that came out in the early 80s, I think it was. And he's over the years had so many requests to update it, and he has. And this goes up to more or less the present. So it's a lot bigger than the original book, as you can see. It comes in.
Right.
I love these UK type record jackets. Or book jackets, I mean. This is really cool. It's already released in the UK, but it will be released in the US the day after our interview on my wife Rena's birthday, September 22nd.
Nice.
So September 21st, David Leaf talking about this great book, which I really think people should get. If you're a Beach Boys fan, I mean, you know, you can't do without it. So we'll look forward to that. We don't have any guests lined up beyond that, but we will. Of course, we always have the irons in the fire.
Yeah, we got a couple things going on, a couple things banding about. We're just looking. Sometimes it's just it's scheduling, and when we can get when we can get people scheduled on a Wednesday, and you just kind of have to throw the darts and see what'll hit. But whenever we don't have guests, we have nights like tonight, and you don't know if we're getting chippy with it again. You don't know if we can actually stump the bash. That's been a lot of fun.
We're gonna have to do a Stump the Hirsch episode. Where I'm gonna have to find as many Klaatu questions as I can.
Oh Lord Almighty!
I know that's the band you probably know the most about.
Yeah, it could be, but
at least compared to a lot of other people. You may know more about the Beatles, but tons of other people know more than us. But you know more about Klaatu than just about every other Klaatu fan. So
yeah,
I may have to come up with 5 questions to. Well, I'll have to come up with 25 choices. That's going to be tough.
And
or maybe I don't know. I'll figure it out.
We might have to do the dating game too. We've got we're gonna have to find all the single women that watch the Material Issues, and
well, because I'm on it, none of them do.
Have them in profile in shadow.
That's right.
Speaking of which, wasn't Bob Cowsill in the dating game?
He very well might have been. That wouldn't be a surprise. They always had young celebrities. They had 2 members of the merry-go-round, I remember.
Yeah, that brings back great memories too. What was the host name?
Jim Lang.
Lang. Yes. Yep.
And they had Karen and Richard Carpenter, I believe, were on different episodes.
How cool is that?
It was, yeah.
That's just cool.
I remember they had I was a kid when this came out, so they had. I don't remember who the male contestant was, but the 3 females were Eve Plum, Susan Nair, who was on. I think she was on that Getting Together show with Bobby Sherman. And who was the other one? Was it Kim Richards? No, she was too young.
She was too young. Yeah, she was.
Who the hell was the other one? It was another teenage girl who was on a series back then, but I can't remember. And I think Eve Plum did win.
What was the Kim Richards show? When she
Nanny and the Professor.
Nanny and the Professor.
She was like 6, so she wasn't her.
No.
God, who was the third one? I've known this.
No, I'll have to fake.
I don't remember who it was.
I'd love to talk to somebody that actually won on that show to see what actually happened afterwards. Did they go on the trip?
I have heard. I think one of the women who she was the contestant, and she chose, one of the three guys, and you could see on her face that she wasn't happy with who she chose. And apparently this woman was good friends with one of my sister's friend's sister. Anyway, she found out that no, they did not. The woman refused to go out with a guy.
Yeah, you know what? If you think about a show that could actually be remade today and be interesting, that would be a show that would be a cool remake.
You couldn't do anything though like you did in 60. There'd be no innuendo. No. Everything is so PC.
That's true.
You can't do anything. You
the
can't.
Innuendo would be out the endo.
It would be boring as freaking hell. That's the problem. Everyone talks about how progressive we are, but we've regressed into a PC world where innuendo, jokes in general, all out the door, all out the window now. Everything triggers everybody.
Last week, and I won't get into what it was, but last week I sent a little clip from Kentucky Fried Movie. Remember that? To a friend of mine. And the clip for me is one of the funniest things. And I remember seeing it in the movie theater when I was a teen. And not only did I laugh my head off, but being in a college town that was very integrated.
I know which clip you're talking about, I think.
even those of color laughed their heads off.
It's where a guy yelled out one word.
One word. He's got the helmet on and he runs. It's, to me, politically correct now or not, it was one of the funniest things, and everybody laughed at it.
No, they did, because
everybody
it was so absurd. Nobody was being racist in this situation.
Not at all.
They were making fun of racism, if anything.
But
you can't say a damn thing, because
my friend was so insulted that I said
absolutely.
To her, and I said you have to remember the time. It was of its time, and you can't think of it in today's sensitivities.
Oh, and your friend was insulted?
Yeah, she was like, I can't. This is not funny to me. This is And I was like, well,
How old is your friend? 16 or? I mean, come on. If she's anywhere your age,
I know.
But a lot of people. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole here. I'm politically, I'm much more to the left than to the right, but I am not woke. I don't agree with wokeness. I don't agree with cancel culture. I don't agree with the idea that, for example, if you're white, you shouldn't be able to talk about racism because you didn't go through it. I think dialogue is what's missing in today's society. Yeah, good for you. I think we need more dialogue. We need more education. Instead, people want to just throw everything under the rug and pretend. And I'm not just talking about with race, with sexism as well. Look, whether or not people want to admit it, men and women are different. They just are. Biologically, culturally, we're different. The problems came up when men treated women like they weren't equals. No, that's gone. The thing is, men and women are different, but we're equal. People of different races are also different, but they're equal. That's what people need to be constantly drumming into people's heads, in my opinion, instead of just trying to make everybody be the same, because we're not.
Or make everybody not talk about anything, and not,
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We need dialogue.
Or not laugh at it, or not cry at it,
right?
Or not shout about it, but make everybody just do this, and that doesn't help anybody.
We need education. We need dialogue. We need tolerance. Yeah, absolutely, Tim. You said it exactly. This is a corollary of that old chestnut. When you ignore history, you're bound to repeat it, and it's absolutely true. Yeah. And this is what woke culture wants us to do. They want us to cancel everything, and that does set us up for it happening again. The woke culture is well intentioned. I applaud them for that, but they're going about it the wrong way. Yeah. I know I'm some 64-year-old white guy, so what do I know?
With a massive collection of albums and CDs.
Yeah, of many different races, by the way, I should say, but and genders. Here. I'll wind it up by saying this. Apparently, I don't remember if we talked about this, but I heard that one of the things the woke culture wants to do is cancel the word mother.
Ah,
They think it's too gender specific. They want to change it to birthing person.
it's too gentle.
Come on. You guys aren't seeing the forest for the trees here. No, seriously, there was a movement. I don't remember in what state. Yeah, exactly. To eliminate the word mother because it's too gender specific. And after all, there are no genders anymore. We're all the same. Everybody, men, women, trans, we're all the same.
We're all
so birthing person. Because God, we might make a mistake because maybe a man gave. How do you know it wasn't a man that gave birth to that person? Stop saying mother. Maybe it was a father who gave birth.
It's science.
What's wrong with you old bastards? There's no mothers here. It could be a father.
Well, if you're just tuning in, this is a heck of an episode of Material Issues.
And with that, I think we should wind it up before the woke police come after me and my male badge, because I'm not male. I'm like everyone else. I'm a they.
You're a they
now. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, you're a they that scored 23 out of 25 points.
That's right.
Tonight, you've tasted all sorts of strange expired potato chips, and you've lived to tell.
I'm still here to talk about it.
You're still here to talk about it. Next week, we've got Bob Calsill. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you let all your friends know and you join the Facebook page or you subscribe over at YouTube at materialissues.com. And we will see you all next week.
We will. Thank you all very much for sticking with us and not getting offended. Well, maybe some of you did. I don't know. For all the same, I can't. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, not going to happen, Tim. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day or night, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.